Jesse.
Yeah, I'm here. Welcome to Wiretapped Truths. My name is Jesse Perez. I'm here with my co-host Leland, and our other co-host Jack is off today. He's working today, so he's off from here. So he's working his 9 to 5. So
Right.
he wishes he could be here, but we got today we got the beautiful makeup artist of The Wire seasons 1 through 5. Correct, Miss Debi
Yes,
Young.
1 through 5, pilot all the way to the end.
Wow.
Nice. Are you one of the only ones to start from the pilot to the end?
No, I'm not gonna say I'm the only one. My department, my entire department, makeup and hair, we all started together to the end.
Okay.
So
You
you're
know.
our 14th episode and our third lady. So
Oh.
we're trying we're trying to get the ladies on. It's funny because I spoke to you like when I first called you to do the show, and then thank you for listening to the podcast and your feedback. But we were talking and we're just like you were just like, I loved The Wire, like this is the best dialogue, and I agree with you. Like, can you talk a little bit on that? Why do you think The Wire is the greatest show?
Well, let me just say this. I know it was deemed by several from Entertainment Weekly.
I think time too, Miss Debbie. I think time
Yeah,
as
that's what I'm
well.
saying.
Yeah.
It was multiple publications,
Mm-hmm.
and it has international appeal. I had my sons travel around the world, and my brother and their corporate music industry, art industry, and they meet people. Man, your mother worked on The Wire, that kind of thing. So they get that kind of,
Feedback.
feedback
Well,
to this day. You
well,
know,
me and Leland met on a Facebook fan group that's still going hard. The
Yeah.
Facebook fan group, and it's like, and you know the fan base for The Wires. Real quick, we actually had Julito on who played Naaman season
uh,
4,
yes.
and he came up with a great idea. I just wish somebody would execute it. He said a Wire Con.
Oh
I
my
think that
God.
would be cool.
I'll mention it to David Simon. Let's see what he says.
It's you know what, and Jesse and I looked into it. Like we like, what if we could be the pillars behind it? It would take some serious planning that it would take. You have to secure the venue, the licensing, and all of that stuff.
Oh,
Like
of course.
we already kind of were like, okay, maybe we could be the pillars of this, trying to put it together. I
Yeah.
think it
So
would
then
be
it came,
something it'd be legendary. Like,
but
Legendary, and it will be well attended. Believe me.
yeah, I know it definitely will be well attended, like you said. So
Yes, 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 yes.
but
And Julita, all of my babies from Michael B. Jordan, oh my God,
so did
Jermaine.
you see something in Michael B. Jordan? Did you say this kid's going to be a star?
Let
You
me
know.
no, let me just he definitely. Let me tell you about Michael. Michael had tremendous family support
Yeah.
to this day.
yeah,
You
Hmm.
know, his mother and I talk,
wow,
correspond with each other. So the thing is with Michael, every one of those persons that were casted, they were all, I'm talking about in the original casting,
Hmm.
extremely talented.
Yeah.
Extremely talented. And as the seasons went on, Ed Burns and David Simon, and I think it was Ed who told me he saw a short. And I'm gonna jump back to Michael in a minute, but he saw a short film that was produced by I think Seth Mann directed and produced this. Seth was one of the directors on The Wire,
oh,
and
wow,
it's Seith Man,
Yeah.
MAN. Seth Man had did this short, and I think Jamie Hector was in it.
Hmm.
It was that. And Ed told me when he saw this short, I think it was 10 Short Breaths. I'll think of the name of it. But anyway, he said he knew that everybody affiliated with that would be stars one day.
Wow.
So they had really a really good taste of seeing people, like that come through casting and stuff like that. Michael, I think he may have been in the soap opera world, before he came. I'm not even sure, what he did right before that. But what I'm saying is they were all very serious, but still playful, just beautiful human being Michael is, his mother, his father, his sister, his little brother, they were all coming to set. He always had support, which is very important.
Yeah.
For young cast members.
You know what, Miss Debbie, too? I watched Maestro, who played Randy in season 4. I watch his stream weekly. We've had him on too. He was one of our, I think, 4th guest, maybe 5th guest, something like that. 6th guest, something like that. And I watch his weekly stream every week, and it's like a Wire Wednesday. He does it every week. So I'll join in, I'll comment in and talk to him and stuff like that. And last week when I watched it, he had the intro to his show. I think it's, what was it? Guys Like Us, or it was like a kid's show back when he was a little kid. And I was just thinking about what he told us in his interview about how his parents were extremely, like, he was like, we're not from Baltimore, like my parents were taking me, honing me in. And then what made me think about that, what you just said, when I was watching his stream last week, and I had never seen his kids show, but like he's the star of the show. I'm like,
listen, Maestro is so multi-talented. I think he was in The Lion King or something like that. Yeah, he multi-talented,
Miss Debbie, that spirit at such a young age, when I'm just watching the clips in that intro on it's just Wednesday, he had like the intro to that old show, and I'm just sitting here watching him as a little kid. I'm like, this kid has so much energy and spirit at a young age. It was captivating. Like, this is like a good show.
His parents nurtured that. Which is very important. I mean, I'm a mother of grown men now, but it's the same thing. I watch my children as they play. I watch what they were attracted to, and I nurtured that. Michael comes from that. Maestro comes from that. I wish every child came from that.
Yeah. And it's so weird, not even weird, but just captivating to see some of the roles that they played on The Wire in terms of how broken some of the kids were. But like these kids in real life, they come from these strong households.
Yes, Jermaine's family. I mean, they really did. Lord Jesus, Tristan's family. Came down. They like to support him. So it is, and I remember the first season of The Wire. Head of State came to Baltimore to film Chris Rock's movie Head of State.
Oh wow, okay.
And so I got hired as a department head on that.
I think that's 04, Miss Debbie. 03?
Don't ask me no.
I think Head of State came out in
No, that's when it came out. That's when we filmed. We always film prior to when it comes out. But what I'm saying is, I think when I was leaving, I had to leave a little bit early that season. And I remember when they were killing Michael off, Wallace off. Michael called me, Miss Debbie. He said, "You gonna be here?" Because I had to leave. I had to leave a month early. Left my key there, to finish it up. And then bring her over to Head of State. All with the producers and the blessings and stuff like that. But I remember going to leaving Head of State, going to the Wire set, waiting for them to get to his scene, and they never gotten to it yet. And I had a real early call the next day for some reason. We were working, and because I think his thing was an overnight scene, but they hadn't got to that part yet. So I wasn't there for it, which I was kind of glad, because let me tell you, when I read those words in the script, I went to David Simon and George Pelicano. I said, "You can't kill my baby." I said, "Don't kill my baby. Don't kill Wallace."
I still tear up when I see that scene.
Oh my God!
If I'm doing a rewatch and I see that scene, I tear up.
No, when I saw the script, I was trying to stop it.
You know, Miss Debbie, for a lot of people, that is one of, if not the saddest scene for a lot of people, because they felt like he was begging for his life. Like it's kind of like, please don't kill me.
And it's for your best friends to imagine your best friends. Like, and when you're a kid, you don't have no other closer friends.
Yes,
imagine your best kid friends killing you. You know, it was like.
You know, and Trey is a great guy too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, but these are the roles and stuff that they play. And so David said, "Listen," he said, you know, because you know, like I said, I would just be a little vocal when I saw things in the script that didn't, like, you know, I just said, "Oh no, you can't kill the child. You can't kill my baby. Don't kill Wallace." You know, and they were telling me, but this really happens. You know, and we got to keep it like real authentic. Wow. I mean, they had a little, I mean, they had a smile on their face when I'm like begging for it, you know, and stuff. But it was just, and that's to me the foundation of the writing of
for sure.
David Simon, you know, George Pelecanos, Dennis Lehane. I mean, these writers, they were, it's so authentic. And authenticity, I always say, is in the details. And they had so many details. If you blink, you would miss it.
You miss it. No, you're right.
If it come down, you doing episode 1 and then episode 6, you got to go way back to 1 to, you know. So, I mean, it's like I would have to read the script over and over and over again. You know, to make sure I catch everything, but you still couldn't, you know.
There's some real like transitions and scene connections. When we interview Maestro, there's a scene when they burn down his mother's house, and then the next scene flashes to Proposition Joe, but he's opening it, but he's lighting a flame too. It's kind of like a transition connection, and we pointed that out to Maestro. He was like, "Man, I never knew that. And I never caught that."
Right. And it was like for us, I'm talking about on the creative side, it was so, how do I say, fast paced. My head would be in the current episode, prepping for the future episode, and doing reshoots for the past episodes. So my head would be in multiple stories at one time.
Wow.
And I'm not saying just my head, but I'm just saying all the creatives.
In general.
Know? And so like on our team, so Sandy and I, Sandra Lynn, she was my key makeup artist. So when we started the show, I said to Sandy, I said, "Listen," I said, this is going to have to be real, whatever we do, because we were the makeup department and the makeup effects department. We didn't have makeup effects.
Oh, wow.
Department. We did everything. You know what I'm saying?
So can you take us a little into your department? Like
that was my next question, like, Jesse. I was gonna ask the same thing. Like,
yes, you like who was on the team and stuff like that, and what we did.
I mean, yeah, you can share that, but just can you tell us, like, because you know, I think people think like your department, and we think like, oh, you did a great job on Bubbles, but it's more than that, right? Like, you worked on that. You know what
it's more than that. It's like so we did develop, you know, like reading the characters. And again, the writing was so specific. And what I was saying and getting at was, I told Sandy, I said, "Sandy, I said, we're going to have to be on point." I said, because they know what it looks like. I said, David Simon was a reporter, a crime reporter. Ed Burns, homicide detective. They know what it looks like. You know, I worked for the police department for 5 years.
Oh, wow.
David Simon would walk into communicate. And this is before I knew him. He was walking to communications where I worked, because I took all the emergency calls, my department, and we would send it up to be dispatched out to the police officers, right? So David Simon will come in, and I think to get this, you know, the stats or whatever for the day or whatever, and probably write his column based on that, right? And then Ed Burns was a homicide detective. So they knew what people looked like when they were dead. And I remember saying to Sandy, like, when you start reading that script, and it was so descriptive, what happens to the person, you know, not he just got killed on the corner. No, they're going to tell you how, you know. But then I would have to, and Sandy would have to, as we would talk about it, go deeper. Was it close range? What kind of gun did they use?
Wow.
What's it external wound we're gonna see, and an exit wound or an entry wound. That's it. All
Wow.
those things made a difference, right? So Sandy, she found this book. I still have the book to this day. It's clinical pathology, forensic
Now, what
science.
is that, Miss Debbie?
It's showing pictures. Like if you go into school for forensic science,
Mm-hmm.
you're looking at how people died. Say they send something to forensics, when it's a homicide, they
Mm-hmm.
can determine sometimes how a person died, when they died, or what contributed to it, or what came after, that sort of thing. So it was filled with pictures of real dead people, because this was a textbook
Oh
that
wow.
they probably used, right? And they had the black band across the eyes, or the face, so you couldn't
Mm-hmm.
really see who the person is, unless, of course, the injury was in the face. But the book was filled with dead people, from babies
Oh.
to adults, all races, any age. I could not look at the book like I'm thumbing through, looking for something. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? It just it upset me so much, because these were really real people,
Yep.
and I didn't want those images
In your head.
in my head.
It's a
Right?
book of death, really.
Listen, and so I I remember saying the same. I said, I just can't thumb through this, like, just looking through. I
Mm-hmm.
said, we had a consultant from the medical examiner's office on set
Oh wow.
to make sure that those things look like they really look, when it comes to them. So what I told Sandy, I said, I'm not going to thumb through this book. I'm going to go to the medical examiner consultant and
Mm-hmm.
ask him to describe to me, if this person, and I'm thinking about Sabaka right now, if this person is floating in the harbor
Mm-hmm.
for over a month, and it's February, with a slit throat, how would he look?
Mm.
What kind of, and I would have him describe it
To
to
you.
me, because in cold weather you're preserved.
Mm-hmm.
Hot weather, if I said August, he might be bloated and swollen, and and decayed.
He's freezing almost on the docks in the water, kind of
And
thing. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So
I
it
see. Wow.
preserved it, So when he explained to me what that looks like, February in the water for over a month, how it look, then I can take my mind and translate it to makeup, without
Mm.
trying to find a person with a slit throat in that book.
A dead frozen 48-year-old with a slit throat in a book of pages.
Right. Now, and so we did all the blood, out of kit wounds and things like that. But there were some things that we would have prosthetics built,
Mm-hmm.
And then we would have someone like Matthew Mungle. Matthew Mungle made the puppet in episode. I'm trying to think when oh goodness.
You can
Snoop.
name the character. I could probably name the episode.
When Felicia, Snoop, and Benga,
Mm-hmm.
Potlow, and what was her name?
Chris Parlow and Snoop.
Yeah, when they were beating Michael's stepfather to death.
Yep.
Ernest Dickerson, well, I would have, like I said, head ahead, you plan in ahead, you're in an episode, and you have an episode, that you're doing reshoots from. Ernest Dickerson, who I love dearly, I would love for him to get on this show, and some of the cast members, so they can tell their perspective. But anyway, Ernest Dickerson came and he's like, Debbie, he said, so in this episode, he said, I'm going to need you to have a puppet made. He said, because Michael's stepdad's going to get beat to death. And the beating is going to be so bad, a stunt person is not going to be able to do it. You know what I'm saying? I was like, okay,
He was a puppet. Wow.
So
That's
he
interesting.
said,
Crazy.
we're going to start with the actor in the scene, and then we'll go to maybe, like a like if they needed like a back shot of a stunt person or something like that, he said, but we're going to go from beating him to the vicious beating on the puppet.
Oh,
So
wow, that's a puppet. That's cool.
it was a puppet on the ground. And so anyway, so what I did, I contacted Matthew Mungo, and he was at WM Creations, his company back then, and I told him I need to have an actor come out to be molded so that when they do this mold, they get every pore, every skin tag, every mold, everything is in this mold. They put like this stuff over top of your plaster. I forgot what it's called, but and then they have the bone structure, everything about the person's face, and then they hand paint, and it's like silicone. When they do it, they tint it to the same color. The skin, every mold is in place, is painted. Every hair is punched in one by one, on his head, on his face, whatever's there. It's an exact replica.
Wow.
Let me tell you. And it's like from, I guess, the bust up. And what I told Matthew at the time, I want his face to be somewhat contorted. Like I said, because he's being beat to death.
You're right.
That's that one look of agony on the puppet's face, when it's moved. That means they send a puppeteer with it.
Wow.
Like the day of the shoot, that he come and you would just, this sort of thing. And and all this stuff, he get kicked and his mouth be there. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so the day that wooden box arrived to my trailer, I called and told David's assistant that the puppet was there, if he could come by and look at it. When I opened up that wooden box for David, I saw a grin on his face that I had never, ever, I mean, it was the widest grin ever. But it was so effective that the UPM at that time, she came to me, Nina Noble, and she said, I just wanted to tell you that the editors called me and said they got sick when they were editing the scene, and I was like, oh, good. Because it was crazy.
Yeah, that was the compliment. Well, now, who's Mr. Ernest Dickinson you mentioned? Who's this?
Ernest Dickinson is a director. He used to be Spike's lead DP.
Wow.
Back in the day, but he's he's renowned. Look him up.
Okay.
Ernest Dickinson, he's a director and a friend of mine. I just love him and his wife. And, when I tell you the Wire family is still together, we're like on a
we've heard. We've heard.
Text change,
what I'm saying? Amanda, all right, so real quickly, Lynn, I'm sorry. I know you're going to say something. I just want to
You ever heard a family tree breakdown? Is that what you about to do?
Well, Amanda Johnson said that you're a mother. She was like, I hope she takes that the right way.
Oh my God.
She's like, she's real motherly.
Listen.
And you're the most caring person.
She's not the first person to say it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not offended at all. They did, I'm trying to think, a New York Times article.
Ms. I'm going to ask you about that in this interview. I got some real questions about that article.
And but George Felicano said, she's like an earth mother, so I've been called mother, so I'm not offended.
With that being said, so then I would, and then, my question now for everybody, because I just feel like it always touches me when I hear something about Michael K. Williams on. I was like, so like every guest we've had has had a special moment with him. And Amanda just broke it down to me. Like, she was like, he would be able to see you and you for the individual person that you are and find like a relation to you. Like, so do you have any stories with like Michael K?
Oh my God. Let me tell you, Michael was one of my sons. I have a bunch of them, but Michael, Michael, when he came to the Wire, he was only supposed to be there for 2-3 days. Like a day player. His character was watching number one. It was watching number one, watching number two. because they sit in a van in the
Right.
dark for the longest time before you really see them.
Right.
Yeah. And so Michael, when the light hits him at night, you know what I'm saying? I wanted like his skin to like reflect,
It's
like
glowing.
light. Yeah, reflect the light. And so anyway, when he done that role, and I remember the first day in my trailer, in the makeup trailer, he was nervous. Like a lot of actors come in like that. Now, I don't, no matter how seasoned you are, you have first day jitters and stuff like that. And I just remember telling him that I said, "You're not here by accident." I said, "You're here by divine order."
Wow.
I said, "So I want you to go out there and dance as hard as you can."
Wow.
Okay. And so anyway, and he just looked like, so relieved. Like I said, you're supposed to be here, And when I tell you, if he did not go out there and perform, and then they wrote a little bit more,
Mm-hmm.
and then they wrote a little bit more, and wrote a little bit more, And then I remember Uta, who was one of the DPs at that time. She said, "I just love him, so much. I just love his performances. I just love what you do to his face, and all that." So I made it so that whenever he was out ready to, to go after somebody, I would use like a baby oil gel over top of his skincare,
To make it glow.
to give him like, more of that reflective shine. Like if you only saw his eye, this part of his face, around the corner, you knew who it was. You
Right.
understand
Wow.
what I'm saying? So,
Wow.
so it was just those things. Like I would just add stuff to it, And I remember him sharing with me when he got cut in real life. He was very depressed about that.
I'm sure.
And I said to him, "So what they meant for harm, God meant for good."
Wow.
I said, "This scar going to take you a long way."
Wow.
Wow.
And I'm just saying, it was just that he called me Lady D. Lady D. I had so many different names, but he called me Lady D. So cut to years later, I just went down to Atlanta to do Bessie with Queen Latifah. And then I realized after I got there that they had, obtained Michael for Bessie's husband. And I just remember telling my husband, I said, "Oh my God." I said, Michael K is coming down to do Bessie. I said, "I'm not going to call him. I'm going to let it be
You gonna wait?
So I was in the production office. This is in the preps area, of the film. I'm in the production office, which is a large space. We're having lunch. You have lunch there. People still going about their work when Michael arrived. So all the producers and everybody, they were all around him, and he's coming in, being polite, saying hello, hello, hello. And so I stood back, I didn't jump up and run up to him. I just let the director and the producers know have their time. And then he saw me standing back. I was standing back there smiling with my arms folded. He saw me, and all of a sudden, in mid conversation, whoever was talking to, "You have a Lady D here?" He said, "Lady D is here." And and he parted that crowd like the Red Sea. And he started hugging me. I mean, he came, y'all just don't know. He was hugging me, tears were running out his eyes.
Aww.
He said, "Y'all just don't know. You just don't." I remember Shelby, I can't remember Shelby's last name. She said, "He's crying," like that. But he said, he said he had been on the phone with Sonia the night before, feeling, the trepidation, that you have an anxiety. He said, "Had I known you were here, I wouldn't have had any of that."
Wow.
So it was beautiful to have, those moments to come back to,
Now, how many years in between was Bessie and The Wire?
Bessie came out in 2005. 2015, I believe. And so we probably filmed it in 2014.
Okay.
Yeah, but anyway, he
about 10 years in between the last shooting of The Wire.
probably so, and although he was in touch with me over those years.
Right.
He always called me every birthday, or if it was something that he wanted me to do and whether I could do it or not, he was always calling me, and stuff. But loved him just dearly. Such a beautiful human, such a generous human, just wanting to help the community, help anybody. And I remember when he brought Snoop in, and that's another whole story. But anyway, I'm gonna let you guys ask the question because I will go on and on.
Go ahead, Leland. I know you want to.
Yeah. Well, you were just breaking down, Miss Debbie, about just some of the attention to detail in terms of what y'all were doing on The Wire. Now you were, and I told you, I mentioned that New York Times interview. You have worked on a bunch of stuff, and a lot of actors and actresses live by Miss Debbie. Okay, let me just tell you that according to that article. In terms of some of the other stuff you worked on, were some other shows, I guess, not so attention to detail, didn't pay as much attention to detail, or was The Wire specific in that way? Like
for me as a creative, like I pay attention to detail. I love excellent writing, number one. I've done a couple of new things like pilots or something that weak, but I'm always gonna go in on what I'm doing creatively. Right. I really feel that your most authentic work is when you pay attention to those tiny details. Like, I go places like I remember I was doing Mary Easttown. And
that's a great series.
Oh my God, the writing was crazy, So I'm out and about between Philly and Delaware. So, you go into the little convenience stores and stuff like that. I look at people, and I'm thinking, okay, so for this character that I've read, they're not telling me to do this in the script, but I'm listening to the words of this character and how she carries herself. And I remember telling the young lady who was my key on that one, I said, I want her to have a dark lip liner. I think she was Italian. I said dark lip liner, pale lip, stick, like very accentuated, makeup, lots of mascara liner and stuff like that. And she just came in and just fell right into that, what I saw in that part of, between Philly, Delaware, so so it's just, to me, it's important to go a step further, because I don't like cookie cutter anymore, and Wire, it was over a period of time, but it still was a contemporary show. When I do period work, and this 1930s, just like, Bessie, I'm like, we went from, I guess, 1916 or 17 to 1930s. I don't want everybody in the movie with the same 1930s eyebrow.
Right.
And the reason why I'm saying that is because, number one, I don't want every woman to have makeup on. Everybody didn't wear makeup.
In the 30s.
In any period, and whatever look. And I would tell them, we're in the 1930s. I want a few 1920s in there. And they were like, 1920, but we're in 1930. I said, no, people grab the look that looks good on them and they keep it forever. You probably still have people walking around with mullets. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
So when you throw those kind of, no, don't arch your eyebrow. Let it be bushy. Everybody's not gonna. It's not. I don't want it to look like the Stepford Wives or something. So when you go in and I'm telling them, I want a few people a decade ago, if they're a little older, like, I said they're in their 40s or 50s or something like that. I said, keep that skinny 1920s eyebrow, because that may have been their heyday. you know.
Goodness.
And so it looks more authentic, you know, because it looks like the real world.
Yeah.
We're not always walking around here with the same look.
Right. So then let me ask you this, because The Wire has such a big cast. Like, I'm just curious. I think Jesse kind of touched on this a little earlier. Like, so how do you do hair and makeup for all of these cast members? Like, what is your timeline on like a daily basis for doing all of these?
Yeah.
How does that work?
How big is the department too? Oh yeah,
So,
I guess.
so let me tell you about the department. So it was Janice Kenegopoulos, my sister, you know, who was the hair department head. Wyatt Belton, she did not know. I had worked with Wyatt Belton when I was working with Tim and Daphne Reed on Links. Okay. And so I was saying, I knew he was an excellent barber and he did women's hair, you know. So I told Janice about him. So they brought Wyatt Belton in. And then I had Sandy because I did a pilot for a boxing movie, not boxing movie, boxing series called The Contender with Tim Reed. And so Belton was in Baltimore with me doing that, The Contender. And I remember her and Sandy, I didn't know her, but I said every time I looked up, she was paying attention. You need something? You know what I'm saying? Now, she was in background. She was not even my key on that show. She was just coming in to do additional work. But what I noticed were the veterans were sitting in the corner laughing and joking. But this little blonde haired pigtails, every time I look up, she was like that. And I said, oh, I told Belton, I said, oh, she pays attention, you know. And so when you're doing a show that's fast moving, you don't, I need all boots on the ground. And I know that she was going to come. And she, when I tell you, like, we don't want anything to go out that doesn't look excellent. Like, if we knew that somebody's brains were going to be showing, you know, she said, I'm going to go home and boil some noodles tonight and bring, you know, and bring them in. And so she had worked a bit on the corner. So she was perfect. I said, you do bubbles. You know, I don't go and just do all the characters. You know what I'm saying? I like to design the show, you know, but I also hire people with skills and bright lights, you know? So I don't micromanage. I know they can do the job. I'm like, you take care of him.
You do your job, and I'll look at your finished product, kind of thing.
Yeah, but act, and I mean, and of course they would say, "Is this okay?" You know, or something like that. But I'm not going to say, "No, put a little mark here," and you know what I'm saying. Some people are like, they want all the credit. I give credit.
You know, I notice on The Wire, like, you know, and I would notice the females more, of course, but I mean, I'm sure it applies to the males. But it's like the females had like the most like their hair was always nice, like the makeup. They like The Wire had like the most beautiful females too. Like, you know, like when D'Angelo goes out to dinner with his what's her name, Donette? Yeah, like Donette looks like, you know, so like I think she's like so stunning in that in that dinner scene. You know, she doesn't act stunning, but
her face though, she looks it though for sure.
She looks. Listen, when I tell you, you know, hair is a big thing in Baltimore and DC. Okay, and so, and you know, and Janice, you know, I mean, like she's a creative. She can see, you know, she can see stuff. She observed what goes on around her. If it's something that she can't do, then she hires somebody. Like if somebody needed braids, she'll hire the braider, you know, to do that. You know, Belton could line people up and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, and we knew how to break people down. We knew how to mess people up, you know. And I remember, so my daughter-in-law, Gazi, is a makeup artist also.
Oh, wow.
You know, yeah. And so Gazi came in the third season, like as our additional person. So she kind of learned under Sandy and I. And I remember when she had seen us do some things, but when we had Amsterdam, we had so many people, we gave her a bag of effects and we said, go out there and break them down. You know, that's it. you know, and she went out there. I think we gave her like, it was about 170 something people. And
Wow.
she had to go out there. I said, mess them up, you know, rotten teeth, you know, whatever, you know. And so, you know, and they all dusty, and I'm giving her stuff that make them look dusty, you know. And so she said we just threw her to the wolves, you know. but she turned it out, you know. So.
It just seems like there's so many. I'm just thinking, like, how do they manage to get everybody situated? It seems like there's so many. Even like you just said, Miss Debbie, you gave her 120 people to go do makeup. Like,
I can't even remember.
goodness.
I said mess them up, you know, because
So how long is a day? Like 14? That you guys must have like 14-hour days too, right?
Listen, it was more than 14.
It had to be.
I'm just saying. I remember the first season working a 22-hour day.
Wow.
The first season. And I think we were sitting in this place. I can't remember this warehouse, but they had these big plastic, like colorful chairs, primary color chairs. And here we are at midnight having a second meal, you know, at midnight. You know what I'm saying? You may have come in like at like 4 a.m. and midnight you still there, you know, eating pizza and stuff like that at that time of night. You know there was some weight gain.
So you must remember working on Michael Kevin Darnall when they put his body outside. Brendan almost like he said that you guys did such an amazing job. Nobody wanted to sit next to him at the cafeteria.
Listen. When they put him on top of the car.
Yeah.
Okay, let me tell you about that scene. So I always, like I said, when I have the discussions with the director and all that, I let them know, you know, we can do it. You know, I let the AD know what it's going to take us. Give us, you know, we need 4 hours to do him. First of all, so he's going to be found on the car, but he's going to come in the first day, and the first scene that he's in is at the morgue, at the medical examiner's office.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So now we got to like track backwards. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. We haven't even killed him yet. So he's coming in dead. Damn. You know, so now we have to do the autopsy, scars, you know, the Y scar, all that. The burns, the cigarette burns, the cuts, the stab wounds. When I tell you, and so then Anthony Hemingway, who was the first AD, he's like, we're finishing a little sooner up here. You think you can have them ready? Now, I mean, we just like an hour in, you know, into the makeup. And I said, we asked for 4 hours for it, you know. And so anyway, he said, well, do whatever you can do. So me and Sandy, we were like, just, you know, like moving quicker to get it done. I think we got him done in half the time, like 2 hours and some rather than 4 hours. But all the cuts, the burns, the abrasions, everything. But we had to do it and then clean it up to make it look like he'd been cleaned up in the medical examiner's office, you know. Oh my God. And I'm telling you, it's like when he came on set, they were like, oh my God. And then we later, maybe in the next episode, is when we did him on top of the car, which was, I mean, so we had to go back looking at our medical examiner photos that we had taken, the autopsy and all that, and do him without the autopsy, but have all these other scars and burns and stab wounds, you know.
Well, he kept the eye. He kept the prop eye too. He showed us.
Honey, we messed that eye up. You know?
on his video on our channel, Miss Debbie, the little thumbnail is him recently in present day holding the eye. Like you can see, like it's probably the most beautiful thumbnail we have because it's like the most original one of all of the videos that we've put up on our channel. That one is like, it's different. Like he's holding the eye on his eye. It looks phenomenal. Like
we, you know, having to mail that piece. I remember when we put a gauze patch, like gauze, underneath that just to protect his eye.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't want like him trying to, opening in his eyes, touching the actual prosthetic, which nothing can get through that, but still, it's weird. So I felt like if I taped his eye, with gauze, closed, and then we do the prosthetic around it, and so Sandy was very nimble with her fingers, where she could get those edges really good, and I was really good at painting it. You know what I'm saying? So we take all our strengths,
And combine them.
into the project. So this person is strong in this area, this person is strong in that area. You just fly with it, and we never want to let it go. So what you think? You think a little bit more? Come on, So it was always that. And
we're gonna have Sandy on in January, by the way.
Fantastic. Yeah. She is something that we're family. You know what I'm saying? We're family. And she's gonna just go like she's gonna go the whole mile. She will leave no stone unturned, to get it. I remember we did that scene when all the prisoners overdosed. Okay.
Season 2.
We were down in a prison, abandoned prison down, I think it was in Lorton, Virginia or something like that. Oh my God. So we were like, they have to be foaming at the mouth, and we have to, think. And only thing we could think of was Alka-Seltzer. You know what I'm saying? This thing. And we were going around coaching every person. Listen, don't swallow this. Are you allergic to aspirin? I'm asking us that. I didn't really want somebody really convulsing in there.
Right.
Are you allergic? I said, this is a medication. I don't want you to swallow it. So, we're going to probably, give you a sip of water. I said, just kind of let it run out your mouth. We did, oh my God, we did so many things at the last minute because, you wanted to be seen, and there were times you just put all this work in something, and we said, well, they didn't even show it, that well, they didn't get that close, that well, but it was just so many of those things. I remember having like I always had interviews, like we talk with the directors, and I wouldn't say interview, we would come, just converse about the episode and what they wanted to highlight and stuff like that. And I remember this one guy, it was a young boy, 13, 14, was going to get beat up by Western District Police. And they said, I said, well, how beat up do you want him? Because he's only 13 or 14, I said, you want, swelling, black eyes, anything like that. He said, no, just bruise him up a little bit, that kind of thing, So I said, okay. The day that the young man came in, I did what the director said, bruised him up a little bit where I think maybe somebody's right hand might hit. They're going to hit him on the left side. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They're facing him and stuff like that. And so, and he went to set. The base camp PA came back with the young man. He said, the director said he wants a swollen eye. I mean, this is on the day.
Right.
Now, I would have ordered the prosthetic pieces well in advance and have them there for that. I looked through my prosthetics. I had a broken pinky finger.
Oh, wow.
Adult pinky finger. I took that pinky finger and put it on his eye, molded those edges with, like a silicone quick fix thing, and painted it up. And when I say it was broken, it showed like a little bits of the bone out of it. He went back. I walked him back to set, and the director was like, I bruised him up more, but now he has this swollen pinky finger that looks like a swollen eye because I've messed around with it. And he said, perfect.
Now, what scene was that, Miss Debbie? Who is that? Did that ever happen? Did that ever come?
Yeah, it was. I think this teenager had gotten beaten up in Western District by the
wasn't
Western
when
District Police.
When
Presbo
Prez hit him with the gun,
isn't it when Presbo hit him with the gun? Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I can't remember. I can't remember. I just know that he was not a regular actor. It was only that one.
No, yeah. And then he's being interrogated by Daniels. It's got to be when Presbo hit him with the gun.
I think that's him. Yeah. Season 1, Miss Debbie, from the first season. Do you remember?
So. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Okay.
So as somebody so close to everybody too, I want to get a little behind the scenes scoop from you. I heard Idris was fuming the day he got killed, like when he read the script that he got killed.
I think
this has been on public. Like the guy said it on the Breakfast Club interview. Trey Nano.
I don't. It just wasn't happy about it. I think none of the actors are happy about it. They don't know it's happening in advance.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I don't think it's happening. He was always very respectful to me. So I would say he probably was upset. He wasn't like fuming, like acting out or anything like that. Yeah, he was just I don't think he expected it.
Right.
We didn't expect it.
Yeah.
I had people call me up when it came on, because you can't talk about the show,
right.
But when that episode, my phone was
I didn't see it coming. I was like, I said they killed Stringer.
Right. No.
It was necessary though for the show to go to the next level that it went to.
Absolutely.
It was necessary.
And this how the killing of Wallace.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They did this, and it was, oh my God, he was, and I'm so proud of him because he's gone on to do so many. I think when I saw sometime in April, the Rwanda thing, have you seen him in that?
I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen that.
HBO, sometime in April. When I tell you his performance was
phenomenal.
Outstanding. Yes, you have to see it. And that's when I said, oh man. First of all, he speaks with a
British accent.
Right.
I started watching The Big C, and he uses his regular accent there. He's in the first season of that.
Yeah. So it's like hard work, to get the dialect and the dialect of Baltimore, and he just has a certain professionalism about him and his attitude toward his craft.
Yeah. And like you said too, Miss Debbie, about just how heartbreaking it was for them to kill off Wallace in the first season. I think them being willing to do that on screen, a 16-year-old, the next season, in season 2, when an 8-year-old is killed by a stray bullet, we're not so shocked necessarily. It's like, okay.
Which is sad.
Exactly. That's what I'm getting at too. Yeah, that's where I'm going with that. But it was kind of set, the Wallace kill in itself was kind of setting us up for season 2 when the boy took the stray bullet. So that's interesting.
You know what bothers me about that scene? That it could be Bodie's. We don't know if it's Bodie's bullet.
Right, we don't know. We don't know. It's left to Wire fans' interpretation. But
I like Bodie so much as a person. I might
have think it wasn't Bodie that killed a 8-year-old, but he was shooting. It could have been.
But the thing is that, and of course he, a phenomenal actor.
He is.
Oh my God, but this is the thing with them. David Simon, they're telling the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
they're telling the truth. I really see, like people.
I think that's what's so beautiful about the show. It's real life.
You hear evening news. There are no faces.
Mm-hmm.
On the evening news, no faces behind it.
Damn,
this one get shot on that sort of that. But then when they did it in the show, they showing you what it feels like, what the grief behind it is, what the see, and you know what? And when I would have to put blood or bullet wound on any child, I was always praying over them.
Wow.
And I said, I rebuke this in the name of God when I was putting it on.
The scream that mom let out when she found her little 8-year-old son, that scream is like it's unbelievable. I don't know when the last time you watched The Wire, Miss Debbie, but
Yeah.
like when she finds her son, it doesn't show her screaming. It just flashes to the housing, and you hear it on screen. But it's
Right.
I mean it's devastating.
It is devastating. And what I'm saying to them, I know they're actors, but what I'm saying to them is I said, this is make believe, this is blood, this is make believe, this is make, and I just said, so, and this will never happen in your life. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to say those things so people don't take on, the energy of a bullet wound or seeing themselves with with some kind of life-ending wound.
Yeah. Miss Amanda Johnson, we interviewed last week. She spoke very highly of you. I mean, like Jesse said, very, very highly of you. But she said, just in reference to what your job entails, like your team is one of the last people that the actors and actresses see before they actually shoot. So it's like having somebody to give even that little bit of just motherly, I don't even want to call it motherly love, but just ensuring them like, hey, look, we just acting. It's okay. Like, kind of thing. Hey, this never happened to you kind of thing. Like,
it's an energy. It's what I'm doing, is greater than myself. Okay. So this is how I look at what I do. It has nothing so much to do with me. But when I'm pulling together the people to be in that space, I'm curating that space for excellence. Wow. If you understand.
Yeah.
Actors come in, they got heavy scenes. They don't need to be dealing with bickering in a trailer or craziness. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm there and I have an excellent reputation of curating that kind of space in a trailer. Things that they may confide in me with, it stays with me.
Right.
Not for everybody.
Right.
Things that they're concerned with or worried about, I'm going to try to ease their mind so that they can go out and do their thing. I recently, a few years back, Mahershala Ali presented an award to me. It was a Trailblazer Award.
Wow.
And it was an award started by another hairstylist down in Atlanta. She said, because, I work with veteran people, veteran makeup and hair people, and I wanted to pay homage to you all. And I said, when she asked me, I said, I do not want this thing to be superficial. I said, it's going to be, if it's a captive space, it's going to be a captive space, I'm sure, of makeup and hair people. So I said, so if I'm doing an award, if I'm going to participate or receive this award from you, I just want you to know, I don't want anybody like coming up to me like, girl, you doing it. I said, because it's not about me.
Right. You want it to be private. Wow.
It's way greater than it. I feel like I'm doing the work, like I'm there not for myself. I'm there by divine order, just like I was telling Michael. So Mahershala said, when he got up and spoke, he said, it's not about the makeup. He said the makeup is on the side. Is what he said. He said the makeup is what got her in the room to do her real work. Wow. Is what he said.
That's the actor who won the Oscar for Moonlight?
Yeah. He did True Detective. He was the third in season 3 of True Detective, Jesse. He's the main cop.
Yeah. And I did his makeup for that too.
He's a phenomenal actor too.
Not the old man's makeup. That was Mike Marino who did the prosthetic in his last stages. Mike Marino Pro Rent Effects, Professional Renaissance Effects, right? Mike Marino, amazing artist. He did his old man. And I've never seen anything so beautiful, so natural. Did not look like rubber on his face. But anyway, so what I'm saying is I'm there to make sure that everybody can be excellent. My team, because I only want shining stars.
Right.
You know, and I'm not. Some people want to hire people lesser than them because they want all the.
They want all the power.
No, all the power, all the praise. They did everything. Can't nobody do it but me. That kind of. I don't work like that.
Right.
I don't care because I want people around me that know more than me.
Right.
Because I don't know everything, and that's how you.
That's how you excel. No, that's for sure. That's for sure.
You know, so it is. It's greater than myself for sure. You know, and I pray over people. You know, so.
So I do have. Jesse, I don't know how many questions you have, but I got 2 more questions for Miss Debi.
Yeah. And tell me if I'm talking too much.
No, you're fine. We know how important Sundays are to people. You know, so we try to be respectful of our guests' time as much as possible, for sure. My first question of my last couple is, you mentioned about Miss Felicia Pearson.
Yes.
I would love to get some insight about her. I watched, and my team hasn't watched it, but my mom is who put me on the wire too, Miss Debi, like years ago. And she was in love with Omar. I live in Georgia, so she went to, I don't know if it was a gun shop or a police station after watching The Wire, and she was like, "Okay, I think I need a gun." She didn't live nowhere where she needed a gun, but she went and got licensed and all of that. She went and she was like, "Hey, I want a double barrel shotgun, like Omar from The Wire."
This was on Donna's episode.
Right? Yeah. And they told her, "Ma'am, those are highly illegal. Right. Okay, you can't get one of those." Okay, so she's who put me on The Wire years ago, 07, 06 kind of thing. She was trying to tell me to really watch it. Then 08, I kind of got lost in it. So when you look at Snoop, and just thinking that if it's not for Michael Williams, we wouldn't have Snoop on The Wire, I think that's just amazing to me. She did. I don't know if you ever got a chance to see. It's something called Trap Queens or Trap Queens. I think
I haven't seen it yet.
The one on Snoop.
Uh-huh.
It's a phenomenal piece because it's her speaking too. It's like her actually narrating her life and walking us through the audience, like what she was doing while she was on the set of The Wire. I mean, her spirit it's unbelievable. Like all this stuff.
She had a lot of those personal conversations with me.
Oh my gosh. That documentary, Miss Debi, it made me, and I knew some of the stuff about Snoop, but like watching it, it's an unbelievable piece of work. Like, so I just wanted some insight to her in terms of her spirit and what it was like to work with her on set.
Oh my God. She came in, you know, and she was guarded. You know what I'm saying? When she came in. You know, Michael told me, you know, like he introduced her and all that kind of stuff to me, you know, of course, you know, David and those guys. But when she came in the trail, and he had probably always said that, you know, this is like a safe place, you know. And she came in and she was, and you know, and I would talk to her and she would talk to me, but wasn't like, you know, giving up anything first in the beginning. I just was there to make her feel comfortable. When she realized she was in a safe space. It's Janice and I remember us being in the trailer one day. And look, she had already told me, you know, that I think like her grandma had, you know, raised her, you know, but I don't know if that was her biological, you know, grandmother.
I need to rewatch the thing.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But I can't remember.
That's the person that was very, you know, affected.
Near and dear to her.
Right. And so I knew that she had went to prison, you know, for murder and all that and everything. And now this child is in my chair. Okay. So I'm going to love on her. This I love on everybody. She said to me one day, and it was just Janice and I. And she was sitting in my chair. And I don't know what we were talking about. Maybe Janice was asking her if she wanted something. I can't remember. But I just remember Felicia just looking up. She said, I'm sorry, y'all. She said, she said, this is the first time in my life that I've ever been around so many white people who were kind to me.
Wow.
You understand what I'm saying?
Wow.
Because Janice and I, we just full of love, you know, you know, and so, you know, and I told her, you know, she was in a safe place. And then, and, you know, and then I would tell the actors to look out for her. like Jamie.
As if she needed it, Miss Debbie.
No. I'm talking about for her job.
For the job. Got you.
Yeah, I said teach her everything. Teach her everything that you know. Just help her along. And I remember they were teaching her monologues, and things like that. And then she calls me Mama Debbie. To this day,
Wow.
I saw her in LA at a party for Anthony Hemingway. We flew out. She's like, Mama Debbie, we just said, just her and my husband. I mean, we just hugged her up, and so it was so nice to see so many people, but Anthony is a magnet, for business. And so anyway, he looked out for her, coming up too. Anyway, I remember her saying to me in the trailer one day, Miss Debbie, do you think I'll be able, Mama Debbie, do you think I'll be able to walk on the red carpet? I said,
wow.
Yes. I said, yes, baby. You will walk on the red carpet. Honey, when I saw the actors, I said, y'all make sure she's on the red carpet. Okay.
Wow.
Help her get to that place. Because I wanted her to see, because she wanted this. She wanted to act. You know what I'm saying? She wanted it. This was a whole flip from what she was doing. Right. I remember Ed Burns, the homicide detective, called me to tell me, I just want you to know, I reached out to Felicia because it was a period when we weren't coming right back. I think it was a switch off between the Sopranos time slot and the Wise time slot, which caused us to have a bigger break between seasons before they filming again. And Ed did not want her to get nervous and get back out in the streets. Right. So what he said, he called me up and he said, I just want you to know, I went to, to see Felicia, to tell her, hold on, I'm writing some good stuff for you, that kind of thing. And we have big plans for you this season. Like, don't get in trouble. You know what I'm saying? That kind of thing. So that she wouldn't get weary between, and stuff. And I mean, she did. And I think that was a season with the tools, and the
that's the best cold open of the show.
Yeah, I think we're actually doing something, Miss Debbie. We do like random episodes to show homage. We've done an episode where we've paid homage to the actors that have passed away in real life from The Wire. So we do like random episodes too, just fan appreciation stuff. We're gonna do one where we break down the top 10 opening scenes of the whole series. Right. That's got to be number one, Jesse. Right? That's probably
my God.
That's probably the best one, right? Like it's got to be
crazy. It was crazy. And do you know Stephen King? You all know Stephen King, the writer. Stephen King, The Shining. Stephen
Shawshank
King,
Redemption.
Huh?
Shawshank Redemption. Yeah.
Let me tell you, Stephen King wrote that Partlow and Snoop was the most the scariest people on television or something like that.
That's cool.
Stephen King is writing that.
That's cool.
It was, you know what, too, Miss Debbie, we like to compare sometimes the two organizations, like, well, the Avon Barksdale organization was ruthless too. They killed a bunch of people. But
well, look, Leland, with that being said, right? Like, because I was going to mention this, so you just gave me the opening to kind of mention it too. Like, we were talking about, like, and I know Miss Debbie loves the show too. Like, people say, "Oh, Marlo, ruthless." Yes, I mean Marlo. They say like he's the son of Satan, right? in the show, I think they said something like
the
that.
The spawn of the devil. That's what
the
Vernon
spawn
said.
of the devil. Yep, that's what it
is. He
is.
is the 100.
The sweetest people in the world.
Honey.
We're birthday twins. I want to get him and tell him we're birthday twins.
You're okay, fantastic. Look, he's my third son. Him and Mahershala, right? So look, Mahershala says he's my third son. Jamie says he's my third son. I said I got third son East Coast, third son West Coast. Jamie is fantastic. Jamie, my son, my youngest son, but he education technology. Education is his thing, like making education for everybody, but anyway, he has a program that he meets with students every Saturday. Jamie happened to hear me talking to him on the phone one day. He said, Carlo, he has a leadership program. I said, yeah. He said, let him know. I'll come down and
Wow.
speak. He drove from Brooklyn to Baltimore.
Damn.
Okay.
Wow.
To come and speak to his students, teaching them how to write monologues and what to do and all. And I'm just saying, so the program is always led by what the students want to learn.
Wow.
So they try to then pull in the professionals to meet what this class wants.
Wow.
So it's wonderful. So yeah, and Jamie has his own foundation.
He does.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let me tell you, he is the real deal. The real deal.
Wow.
And he has students who have, who are acting, who've done great things coming through his program.
Wow.
But I was gonna say too, like, people say, oh yeah, Stanfield and Barksdale, but Barksdale, look, Avon said, I want him out displayed like a deer. Like when white people kill deer, I want Brandon displayed like, that's brutality right there, right?
It is
stealing drugs. They killed a security guard lady because she flipped on her statement. They still killed her just to have her quiet.
Yep.
It's like, so the Barksdales. I mean, we love the Barksdales, I guess, because we see more like them have more vulnerable moments, but they're just as bad as Stanfield.
But I think the difference though is the people though. Like, we love Weebay as a character, and I love every scene, Miss Debbie, and I've spoken on this a few times. I love The Wire. It's the best show that I've ever seen, and I love Breaking Bad, Power, Top Boy, Ozarks. I love all of those shows, but still think there's just a gap between The Wire and everything else. I feel like as much as I love The Wire, I would have loved to see more. I don't know where it would have sat in the script. Every time Weebay was on screen, it was so like he's just a phenomenal actor.
He was captivating. He was captivating.
I mean, every scene.
Very.
Can you tell us about Wood Harris and the actor who played Weebay, Hassan? I always mess up his name.
Hassan Johnson.
Hassan Johnson. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have any? Did you have any interactions with them?
I always had interaction with them. I think I've done the way we would do it, like so I would do Wood. I've done Idris, but this is sometimes if I have somebody else is in my chair, then Sandy would do. We did back and forth. She always did Andre. I always did Dominic West, Wendell. So
I was working with McNulty. How was Dominic?
Oh, I love him. That day on Dominic West was so funny. My God, he was like, great actor for sure. But it was like a family,
a whole family there.
Yeah. And I remember one time they were, Wendell's from New Orleans,
right?
Wendell Pierce is my brother. You know what I'm saying?
Phenomenal individual. It seems like.
Yes. So it's like him, Ernest Dickerson, myself, Sonia, with Andre Royal, we're on the same text chain. You know what I'm saying? So, and our little Wire family for life thing, But anyway, but I remember, so Wendell, after the Wire, we went to do Treme. Janice and I, not the first season, but we went the second season, right? But in the second through the end. Anyway, so Wendell, being from New Orleans, Wendell is like the mayor of
New Orleans.
Yep. Oh my God, he knows everybody, and he is such a presence. Such a positive presence.
Philanthropist, activist, New Orleans, yeah.
I'm just saying, in the community, he's just giving up. So we're on The Wire. So you know how they put the actors on hold, like they're not going to shoot, we're going to put them on hold. But when they put you on hold, they want you held in Baltimore. I remember Wendell, Clark Peters, McNulty, Dominic, I think, and Amy, right? They all went to Mardi Gras.
Wow.
And they going to come back. McNulty is walking up in the trailer, Dominic, getting ready to be McNulty with Mardi Gras beads on. They weren't even supposed to be out of the state. You know what I'm saying? They went down there and partied. They came back. They had brought gifts to Janice and I and stuff like that. They had a ball. So it was all that kind of crazy stuff.
New Orleans is phenomenal. Jesse, I don't know if you've ever been to New Orleans, bro.
No.
Man, let me tell you, I got family out there, man. You go down there, man, you can get lost in the love and just the people,
it's
bro.
Crazy.
Man, New Orleans is phenomenal.
Yes, it is. And Wendell is like he would tell the best restaurants, and all that stuff. And he is such a beautiful human. And they all had so much fun together. There's Clark Peters, the same like my brother. Their Freeman character was no joke.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
The brains of the police.
Let me
portion of the show.
He is, and he pours it all in. I just remember him walking up the street, and I think he was saying, "Hey, Shorty," or "Hey, Pookie," or something. What was
it? When they were trying to arrest Bird. He's dressed almost like a homeless person, and then when Bird walks by, he's like, "Shorty!"
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, I was like, "Look at him," But I love him. He came, to the U.S. a little while ago. It was last year. Yeah,
He lives out in the country.
Oh
yeah. Wow. Okay.
He does. I mean, I'm sure he, starts family stuff here. But he does. I think he was in London and Portugal.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Leave it to Lester Freeman to live out of the country in real life.
Right.
You were gonna say
when he came here, he was living in London.
Wow. Okay.
When he came to the Wire, he was already living there.
Wow. Okay.
And you have to also think they're great theater people too.
Right. A lot of the Wire people.
Clark,
yeah.
Like I'm just saying, Clark, Wendell, McNulty, all of them.
Dominic, yeah. You were gonna say something about Wood Harris. Your interaction with him. Yeah.
Oh yeah. It was great working with him. Very serious actor. He's a brother Steve. That's a very serious actor.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yes, you'll Google Wood Harris's brother too.
Steve Harris. Jesse. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, but anyway, but very, 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 very strong.
Oh, so he's like a serious person on set, and
no, they were laughing. They were having.
Yeah.
I mean, it was him and Idris would be in the trailer talking a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they wouldn't come into makeup on time. You know what I'm saying? And so Anthony Hemingway, first AD, he would send a message, like the little PAs were going, "You have to go to makeup," they still in there talking about music and art and all, or whatever else they were talking about and stuff like that. And then Anthony will call me and he would say, "Mama, can you go get Wood and Idris out the trailer, please?" Like because the PAs have been like 3 or 4 times and they've
already tried.
They still talking, right? And I just go knock on the door, say, "Hey guys, I need you in makeup, because I got other people coming behind you." "Oh, okay.
We coming, Miss Debbie. We coming, Mama Debbie. I'm sure."
Right. But they were great. They were so good with their craft. I mean, I could just go on and on. Brother Mazzone. When I say right, Michael. I remember Chris Bauer.
Mm-hmm.
Saying to me, Chris Bauer, who's Sabaka, saying to me,
Sabaka,
Frank Sabaka.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I remember him saying to me that Michael was the best actor that he knew. You know what I'm saying? I think they had probably did stuff, or maybe they were at the same university or did stuff together. Mm-hmm. But they were so one person after another. I could go on and on and on about the performances,
Yeah.
And Glenn Turman, my guy, She. You know what I'm talking about.
Legendary one-liner.
Yes,
Clay
Lord.
Davis.
That he
Clay
used in
Davis.
other stuff. You know what I'm saying?
On 25th hour.
Right,
When he gets at Norton.
He's probably, and we don't talk about it enough, Jesse. I'm trying to think, is Clay Davis a top 5 funny character? He might be.
Oh, he's hysterical.
He might be one of the top 5 funniest. I think I got Bunk as number 1. I got Wendell Pierce
Bunk,
as the he's I think he leaps and bounds the funniest person in The Wire. Like it's not even close. He's comedy on that screen. Like
I love when he's hung.
I mean, those glances, those looks, those know.
Yeah.
But anyway, I've been able to do Wendell on Jack Ryan. When they come in, like for the DC unit, he was just in on a film here that my daughter-in-law was department head on. Really, because we fight.
Okay.
And Andre Holland is top. The lead on that. Amazing actors, all of them. And I think Andre Royo was on that one too. They were all in Baltimore. So I got to see Wendell, during that time. But Wendell, when I was doing Jack Ryan with him a few months ago, probably it was like in April, and he came in. Wendell holds court. Do you hear me? Everybody is around him.
I can believe it.
All the actors, all the day players, all the crew members, because he has story after story story after story.
Miss Debbie, I don't know if you follow the Power world. He's in Raising Kanan.
I know that.
Yeah, he is. The Raising Kanan show is kind of looked at as the best spinoff, the most critically acclaimed spinoff in the Power world, and probably the show that can rival the original Power in terms of what fans like and stuff like that. And he in that show, his dialogue when he's on screen, it's unbelievable. Like his wife too is in the show too, Miss Debbie.
Right,
she's in the show with him. Yeah,
she was in this down here in Baltimore too.
Okay, yeah. When he's on that screen, it's unbelievable. Like, and I love Power. I'm a Power fanatic. I love Power, the whole universe, all of it. I love it all. But when Wendell Pierce is on that screen in that show, Wendell Pierce, and what's the actor's name that played Spiros, Jesse?
Spiros, Paul Ben Victor.
Paul Ben Victor was on our show.
Yeah. Spiros. Yeah.
He's another amazing.
Both of them?
One of the Greeks.
Yes, Miss Debbie. Yes. Both of them in the last season. So Wendell Pierce.
You're gonna make me go look at this because
I'm telling you,
Miss
Debbie. I'm telling you, they are fun. So in this last season,
I think something else that's captivating about Raising Kanan is, and Leland, you could correct me if I'm wrong. Like, it's Kanan growing up, but I think a lot of it is 50 Cent growing up. I think it's a lot of his story.
Kind of, sort of, in a way, a little bit. Kind of, sort of, in a way, a little bit. That's the best way I could put that. Kind of, sort of, in a way, a little bit. Like, but they're phenomenal in these shows. Season 3 and season 4. Season 3 is when Wendell Pierce is introduced, and then he's got a bigger role in season 4. He's kind of him and his wife are kind of the main people in season 4. But it's his dialogue, the way he talks to people in the show is phenomenal. It's phenomenal.
It's something. He's getting me to do Othello next year.
Wow. Okay.
Wow. So he
and Broadway.
No, I think I'm trying to think. Is it going to be on Broadway? But I thought he was going to do it in DC at the Kennedy. I can't remember. But I know he's doing Othello, and I know that we want to go to see him on stage.
Wow.
I missed him.
I was going to say, if it's on Broadway, you guys got to invite me. I live here in New York.
Okay, fantastic. I'll let you know. I wanted to see him in Death of a Salesman.
I wanted to see that,
but
too.
I couldn't get there. But he is an amazing, amazing actor. And I don't know if you guys have seen these like montages of a person's career. Like,
yes, that's what I was about to say.
And then there is one for Wood Harris also that from his first
scene
to all the way to where he is now.
Remember the Titans is one of my favorite movies. Remember the Titans is one of my favorite movies. Oh,
yeah, right.
And Miss Debbie, it's so crazy that you said that. Probably 2 months ago, I saw the one for Wendell Pierce. I don't know what rock I've been living under all of these years. I don't know how I missed this man's filmography back dating before I was even born in the 80s.
Come on now.
I don't know how I missed all of that. It was a
Mm-hmm.
phenomenal, like, just breakdown from the 80s up until I think the last one was a play or something like that. That's how it
Right.
ended a few months ago. But I was like, this man is an acting
Everything.
legend.
He is in every. He's in like even with this. I think he had to get back to film Elsbeth the next day.
Wow,
You know.
it was phenomenal. So the fact that you even just mentioned that about seeing
Right.
that, I just saw that about Wendell Pierce like two months ago. I
Right.
could probably watch our podcast and say when it was, but it was a
Right.
few months ago, and I was
Right.
like, how did I not know all of this about this man? Like New York Undercover. I'm like, what?
Right.
Where was I at with Wendell
Right.
Pierce? What was I doing?
Right, and Jesse, and that's what I was saying. The Wood thing, you know, I did not realize Wood had done all of these things, you know, from being a very young man to where he is today. He's done a lot.
He has.
Yeah.
You know, so
I don't want to. I know we held you a lot. We did the same with Amanda
It's
Johnson.
okay.
It's just so good talking to you. But all right, so and then Leland, I'm sorry. I know you said you have one more. I guess my final question, because I know I could talk to you for hours. I think you have to come back for part 2, number 1.
Oh, I definitely will, because I love them so much, and it was such a beautiful experience being on that show.
We have
you know
part
what,
2
Jesse?
lined up.
You just gave me a phenomenal episode idea that we can do with Miss Debbie, Miss Amanda, and Miss Donna. Actually, I just thought about something that would be really cool if we could get all of them on at once as like a reunion. I saw it on Maestro's channel, and he did it. I thought that was really cool.
You know, and I don't know how many people you can have on there, but I would think like Sandy, Janice,
I think we could fit up to how much is it? 10?
I think it's 10.
But 10 might get a little closer on the YouTube view. So,
I think we can talk to Miss Debbie, talk to Miss Donna, talk to Miss Amanda, and we can figure out what that number of people is. But I would love to have them have like a reunion with each other on our channel. I think that would be something phenomenal. I watched it with Maestro. I watched Maestro's when he brought it wasn't Tristan Wiles. He told me like, yeah, he's a father now. He's got his own thing going on. He's like,
well, Tristan is the one. I mean, Maestro told us, Debbie, like we're not. I think he said on the podcast, so I'm not releasing anything that he said in private. Yeah, he said, Tristan is the one that like least kind of embraces the wire. Like
family, I guess.
Yeah, family.
But
like,
as a father of multiple kids too, and you got your own thing, I get it in a way, But I know the Wire is such a family, but like I guess I get it. You have kids.
I don't know, because I don't know. He does reach out like to me.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean with Maestro, like doing the podcast, like when they do the big three,
right.
he says it's always him, Dookie,
and sometimes. And let me just say this, because this is, you get to a certain level that you have handlers, what I'm saying? Like your legal team, your management team, there's certain things, you probably wouldn't see Michael B. Jordan on that either.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's not always like them. They after a while it becomes a machine that people moving you
where you need to they schedule you where you're supposed to be at, kind of.
Exactly.
Yeah, I hear that.
So I just think after a certain time you can't do everything. I remember Idris coming back for fundraisers and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I doubt if they could get him to do it now. You know what I'm saying? Because of where he's going. It may not be something that they don't want to do. It's just because
it's not in my control.
And it's not part of the plan for them. So I just want to say that in response to Tristan, because Tristan definitely does work. I mean, he has reached out or responded to maybe Instagrams and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Or say even Michael B. Jordan has DM me saying I'm so proud of you.
Oh,
you know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Just like I say I'm so proud of him,
Yeah.
and stuff. But it's not
Sinners.
like
I hope Sinners gets an Oscar. Right?
I'm sure he oh my God, he did such a wonderful oh my God, this
That
performance
when
was
he
amazing.
portrayed like twins, like I'm like this
Twins.
is like and with two completely different personalities. Like
Yes.
it's some of the greatest acting I've ever seen. I don't.
I'm saying it's fantastic.
I mean, he's phenomenal. He's
He
phenomenal.
is.
He's a phenomenal actor. Like he just
does, he
even as
does.
Wallace, he was great. At Wallace at 16, like he was great. You know what was funny too? Watching The Wire younger, I never put it together until years later about the whole him telling D'Angelo that he's not a president on the dollar bill.
Yeah.
I thought for years, I'm like, yeah, he's right. Actually, he is a president, but he's not a president. Like,
that's another example of who's ever the loudest is right. Like D'Angelo's like, of course he's a president. He's a dead white man on green
on some money.
And the pit just agrees with D'Angelo. And D'Angelo's completely wrong. Hamilton was not
you guys need to have Larry on this show.
I would love to. I've said this, Leland. Haven't I been saying this?
I was about to say it, Miss Debbie. Yeah.
I said that
I want to be on the show with him. No, I'm just playing. But I said have all the light. No, I
said Larry's my favorite act. Larry's my favorite actor from season 1. Yeah. Okay. Like I think he's the best actor he might be the best actor of the show, which is a lot of acting going on. But he steals some monologues where I'm just like, wow, that was like really good.
The stuff with him and Stringer when he's confronting him about Wallace being dead, like when he's screaming at Stringer, he's got some scenes in there that are like.
With his mom, the speech with the final conversation with his mom when the twins came to beat me up, and you said, "Boy, I brought you in this world, but I can't live in. But you're gonna have to be well, Mom. I'm living in it." I feel like crying.
Yeah. Let me tell you. So I can't say, because Mama loves them all. I mean, there was some the performances. I think everybody had a light that could shine bright, like in their moments and stuff like that, but he is definitely a great actor.
I guess I like to shout out Larry Gillard too, because a lot of people don't talk about Larry Gillard's performance.
Right.
But you always hear about like Wood Harris.
We do.
And you know what, too, just to go back, Miss Debbie, come to think about it, he was in season 3 of Raising Kanan, Larry Gillard.
Right.
He was. He was in season 3. He was in
another David Simon show too, The Deuce.
He was that with George Pelicanos. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Now this is my last question too, Miss Debbie, because we're getting not even that, Jesse. I was letting her know what we got to do. We're breaking down because we kind of want to stick with, before we venture off to any other shows or anything like that, we kind of want to touch on all of the Baltimore film crew area, David Simon, all of his works and stuff like that. So we took a little pivot from The Wire season 2 because it kind of ends with D'Angelo dying in the mid-season. So it's kind of like a good pivot point. So we're doing We Own This City. We're breaking down We Own This City, which is to me, a phenomenal miniseries, one of the best miniseries I've ever seen. And just because of what it touches on in reference to The Wire, and you're a Baltimore native, if I'm not mistaken. You grew up in Baltimore, right?
And I was the department head on that show.
Okay, I thought so. Right, I thought that's what when I was reading on that. So, just in reference to you being a Baltimore native and you working on The Wire, you working on We Own This City, how bad were the cops, or are the cops, in terms of the corruption and stuff like that? Because I know The Wire doesn't really touch on it in terms of corrupt cops or painting cops in a bad light, as Ed Burns was a cop, so that's not really the direction I would expect, but We Own This City, same director, same people, and they touch on it heavy.
Well, this is the deal. So George Pelicanos, that was his thing. This was his project.
Okay.
Okay. He wrote it, did the research, knew all of it. And these guys, like I saw it on the news, but on the news you get a snippet,
right,
of what the real deal is,
right.
But I know that George wanted to make sure, that you get the backstory is coming. How, in fact, they use real people who were victims of these officers in We Own the City.
Oh wow! I don't think I knew that. I didn't know that.
Real victims came in to act. You know what I'm saying? Wow. And told you their little bit of it. Wow. And so Hertz, who died recently.
Miss Donna announced it to us on our podcast. She broke the news to me that he passed away recently.
He passed away recently. A while back, he wanted to get out of jail because he had a diagnosis.
Yep. He said he was sick, and they were like, "Yeah, no, you're good. You'll be all right. You stay on in there."
Right. So did they let him go home? I thought they let him.
They didn't. They didn't, Miss Debbie. He died in prison.
Okay.
They never released him. I know he was trying to appeal it and trying to show, like, hey, look, I'm sick. I'm messed up. I need to get out. But they never granted it.
He died recently. He really did. And and I remember texting George and Janice. And George and Janice are our friends.
Okay.
Too. George Pelicanos, who wrote it.
Mm-hmm.
And when I saw the news flash, I sent it. And I remember George wrote something like, what a way, to like not what a way, but that to come from a place where I guess he could have done a lot of good to end up like he did. You know what I'm saying?
It's a crazy story. Like Jesse's seen We Own the City once or twice, and then our other host, this is his first time watching it, but I've been watching it. I go to sleep to it because, like, if I know I'm gonna get like 4 hours of sleep, I'll put on episode 3, 4, 5, and 6 to know that the TV won't be playing. But
fair warning, when we do the recap, I'm not that crazy about episode 1. I think it's just because I was just so lost in the timeline. Like the timeline was a little confusing to me.
But Miss Debbie, I love it. I think it's just showcasing Baltimore and the corruption behind political figures, because it showed like the mayor went to jail. It showed that the police commissioner was dirty. Like it cast a light on the city that's unbelievable. Like,
and and of course the city doesn't like that. You know what I mean? Yep. They just don't. I was trying to find the I thought John Bernthal did an excellent job.
He's freaking
he's
amazing.
He's such a great actor. Another one who gets
unbelievable.
He steals everything he's in. He's in this. He's
everything.
He's like on this show called The Bear on Hulu. It's a really good. It's a really good show too. About
and his work outside of the work that he does. He has a podcast also.
Yeah.
Right. The work that he does, like out there out in the world, is phenomenal. So I just feel like I've been blessed with.
Next week we're interviewing Andre Severino, who was law. So is that I pronounced his last name right? That had a podcast also. He was the law enforcement consultant on We Own the City.
Oh, okay. Yes, I can't remember his name. I'm sorry. He was the police on set or something like that.
Yeah. But he has a podcast also, and they had John on also.
Right. John is the real deal.
He is. He is. He really is. Man, that show, like I said, I love that show just because of being such a big fan of The Wire and them not necessarily painting the cops in a bad light, but and We Own This City, you get the full picture of what some of these cops were. They were literally ruining people's lives. Like it's sickening somewhat. Like some of these people, some of these people did 8 years, 9 years in jail for evidence planted. Like I didn't even do this. Like families broken, money, fortunes broken, stolen. Like it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
It's I just feel like, and I'm not even gonna start talking about the grift and the lawlessness that's swirling around us, to this day. It's pockets of it everywhere, but you still have to, I feel like push through. And if you can emerge still a good person, after all this has been done to you, You know what I'm saying? It's a lot. It's a lot. And when we was filming that scene, I remember we had a big scene with John, and this fool that's not even in the show came running through, like, and kind of like hit him, hit John.
What?
Yeah, and he wasn't even a background artist. It was some, I can't remember what he was, but he was not a part of the show.
Mm-hmm.
And John smacked him back or punched him back or whatever. I mean, it was crazy. You know what I'm saying? That you out in the scene working, and here comes some fool running through the crowd, and stuff. But John was a boxer.
Wow. Yep.
At one time. And a hand slap, when your man hand slaps you,
you got to give it back. You got to give it back.
No, John, he can give a hand slap. He said that's sometimes better than a punch.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, it's. I think guys consider it more disrespectful.
It's disrespectful. Yeah. Yeah. Your mom slaps you. Your grandma slaps you.
I was told that when I was younger. Don't ever let a man disrespect your face, like a slap on the face, like. I was like,
no, but I love John Bertho. It's so many. It's just like I said, we could just go on and on and on. About the women on the show. Maria Brum. Didi Lovejoy. All Sonia. Her
with Amanda was on, and she hinted at some party days, right? Like
She said every week she was throwing parties in Baltimore.
Like they used to hang out and stuff. Chris Clanton said that, for him, season 1 was like he was dealing drugs out of on set and stuff. Like
Chris Clanton is Savino. Is that? I'm sure you probably know.
I know Chris Clanton.
Oh yeah, I figured.
So that,
he called Mama Debbie. Just wrote a book.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal book.
He was awesome on here too. Yeah, I bought his book for this girl. That I hope
this girl. You trying to train somebody? What you do?
Well, I told her I was like, look, I know somebody who wrote this book. It's more for females. Would you like it? But it's a girl that I'm interested in.
Okay.
So
okay, whatever. Tell me more. No.
So what you gonna call it?
No, Chris Clanton is another one. He'll call me out, and stuff like that.
We had
I had to tap him on his head too, first season. But go ahead.
And then
he was young too, though, Miss Debbie. He was 15, right?
There's a lot of them were young.
16.
Thought they were grown. I'm like, baby, this ain't the place. Come on.
He was and then what you gonna call it? Oh, on the Breakfast Club interview, they said that Ed Burns and David Simon would have to bail them out like every weekend. Like every weekend they were getting
It was so much.
Can you tell us about that? How many hangovers did you have to nurse?
No. The thing is, like Wyatt Belton, they called him B. Belton, the barber.
Mm-hmm.
So he would go out with some of them. So Belton doesn't drink. You know what I'm saying? Wow. So he would be the same person or the sober person. And there were times I think that he may have had to get somebody out of jail or something like that. Other guys would come in and they got glitter. They got glitter on them. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, because on the Breakfast Club interview, J.D. Williams said he was in the club every weekend.
Right.
Like every weekend.
Like strip club. I'm like, boy, if y'all don't carry yourself on, I gotta clean glitter off of you, and stuff like that. But the thing is that, it was just not easy to keep them straight. And then what the guys would have to say, man, that's a character on TV. I'm not in here. I'm in here to have a good time.
Right.
Yeah.
Trying to, fight nobody or whatever. People will approach them like they were their real person.
I hate that from people too. Like, do you not understand that this is acting? Like, why?
But I asked Julito that, and he said most. So I guess times have changed too. Because I was like, did anybody try to like say, "Oh, you're soft" and stuff from like when like the name and character, like try to test you? And he was like, I think most people knew that was acting. Like I never got like tested like that outside. But I think season 1. they do say that, you know, that they were like in the
they
clubs and
did.
stuff.
They did. They were
I
like,
think,
no, this is not what I do. I
so. I
mean,
think
I'm out here to have a good time, man. I'm not trying to take your woman.
mentalities have changed, you know. Yeah, and it's funny too because with Maestro, okay, I promise this will be my last question. I'm sorry,
It's okay.
I know and Debbie, I know I held you guys up.
That's
You're the
okay. You're
longest
not
person we
holding me
had
up.
on the show.
I love the question. I
So
love
we
the
had
fact that. Go
so
ahead.
with Maestro, right? So when Maestro on, right, he said that they all wanted the character of Naaman. And then I think even Miss Donna, Adrian Gibson, the executive producer of our show, we got to set a shout out.
Always.
And she corrected me too. I noticed that you said it. She watched yesterday's episode, and I used the word extra. I said, "There's an extra in the background." She said, "They're not extras; they're background artists." So I'm going to start using that now. So she gave me a little EP note this morning. And so Maestro said all the kids wanted the character of Naaman because Naaman got the good clothes, he got the PS5, and you know, for me as an adult, I would think like, and then they said that Dookie, I'm sorry, the actor, Leland, who's the actor who played
Jermaine
Dookie?
Crawford.
Jermaine,
Right.
yeah. So they said that he used to get picked on. They treated him bad. You know, they said on Maestro's podcast, Miss Donna said it, and it's kind of like, why? So me as an adult, right? I would look at those characters and I would say, I want the Dookie character. That's the most. That's the character to act. You know, that's I want to act. I want to show my acting chops. So where do you think? You think it was just like a kid mentality that they're like, oh, I want to be the kid that gets everything. You know.
Well, you know, it's the thing. Okay, so we were shooting in a old a vacant elementary school. I mean, a vacant school. I don't know if it's elementary or middle, but there were a lot of students. You know, so the BG artists who are students are still kids, you know, like growing up.
Yeah.
So, and sometimes there's not you can't differentiate between what normal kids do, you know, and the acting, how they respond off camera. You know, they're trying the girls, you know, the girls on set today, you know, little boy. And so here's Jermaine walking around with dirty clothes. So Jermaine came from a very broken family. Not Jermaine, Dookie. Yeah, not Jermaine. Jermaine had a lovely family, brother, father, mother, you know. Dookie came from a very broken family.
Yep.
Family that was into their stuff. You know, so he was neglected. That was his thing. You know, and he was not homeless at first, I don't think.
Right. He wasn't, no, ma'am.
No, he wasn't. I think somebody was saying he was homeless. He just was in a home where people didn't really care about him. You know, and so, you know, and there were days that I would have to break him down, like even more. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, when he started using drugs and stuff. Oh my God, you know what I'm saying? To make him look, you know, but he just didn't have people to care. He couldn't bathe every day, stuff like that. And, you know, you just like with your friends. And I think Tristan character, Michael, looked out for him.
He did.
You know, and, you know, in such a way.
I love their relationship in season 5.
Yeah, I don't think like all of them picked on him. There may have been one or two that did, you know. But he had parents that were on set. You know what I'm saying? Every day. I remember his mother saying.
So it makes sense. You're saying like the kids that were like the background artists were like would kind of like treat them as their characters more than just the actors, I guess.
Right? Yeah, like they come ooh like that. You know, they you know that I'm rubbing elbows with us, you know, like with the actor. You know, they probably came in wish they had lines. You know, and stuff. And then they maybe would view the character in their clothing and all that kind of stuff as they view other classmates in school, not knowing that that Jermaine dressed nicely outside of
in real life.
Right. He was always sharp outside of this.
Yeah.
You know,
I love him in We Own This City too. I love him in the little scenes that he's got.
Oh my God.
I love him in We Own This City.
And look, and this is another footnote. So we would have these talent contests, and I'll have to show you the pictures someday. At the end of the season, the whole crew, when I say it was a wide family, we had baseball games, picnics, all that kind of stuff. And we had the talent contest at the end of the season. And Jermaine and Michael K. Williams, they were going to do the Thriller dance.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, from Michael Jackson, right? And then myself and Janice, Sandy, and Belton, we were, he was Ray Charles. Tristan was Kanye. And me, Sandy, and Janice was Gold Diggers.
Oh, wow.
You steal my money, without the need, that's all. And so we came out, we were all dressed up, So we won. We beat Michael K. Williams and Jermaine. They did the dance. They did that dance to the T, not one step. And as a matter of fact, Michael K. Williams, he came in like lunchtime when we be practicing our Gold Digger stuff. He was showing us that, because he did choreography too at one time.
That's
wow. That's phenomenal. That is phenomenal. Wow.
So, yeah. But we won. We won. The makeup and hair department won.
Champions.
Miss Debi, thank you so much for this time today. This has been such a just beautiful interview to start this week. We are so grateful for your time, your insight. This has been. Amanda said that we would have such a great interview with you. She said, I'm telling you, you all are going to love Miss Debi.
Oh my
she
God.
said it. She spoke very highly of you. So we definitely appreciate your time this morning.
Listen, I love that show and I love the people. And I'm always, amazed because we had so many characters.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm amazed that people sometimes walk up to me and say, I remember you. I was a background person on The Wire.
Wow, that's love.
We had there's so many. And it's like today, like I said, Sonia calls, we talk, talk to Wendell, Ernest. Jamie, you know what I'm saying? I talked to Jamie like Thanksgiving, and he was like, they were making a road trip down to my house. So I'm saying it's just nothing but love.
For sure.
For them. So I really felt like that show was such a blessing for a lot of us.
Yes.
And I'm glad that, you go through life and, I want the best for everybody. I want for you all what I want for myself.
Right.
And my children. And I made it known to people. I want the best for them. But it makes me so happy because you really don't know how people feel until like I really see it. I saw it in writing, Times article, like the effect that you have in your leadership.
Miss Debi, that article, how people speak about you, let me tell you something. It is unbelievable. Like they hold you in the highest regard that you can hold a human individual. And it's from multiple projects, multiple actors. They all say the same thing about you, for sure.
And I am so humble, and so what I'm saying is the blessing for me is to know that my presence have made a difference, a positive difference in somebody's life.
I can promise you it has. Just from doing our research on you, I can promise you it has.
And that's what I'm saying. So I'm so grateful. I don't take it for granted because it's not about me. The work that I do is way bigger than me.
Wow.
So I'm grateful and thank you guys.
I want to fight. I want to fight for a spot to be one of your sons. I want to.
Come on, baby. Y'all already in. You already in.
Miss Debi, before you leave, we have all of our guests. If you wouldn't mind, would you please just say, please like, share, subscribe to Wiretapped Truths. Can you just say that little clip for us, please?
I sure can.
Thank you so much.
I say, please like, share, subscribe to Wiretapped Truth because there ain't nothing but the truth.
Thank you so much, Miss Debi. It's been a phenomenal episode. We are appreciative of all the love, all the fans. We have surpassed about 110,000 views on our channel as a whole. We're going to put this interview out very soon, so we appreciate all the love, all the support, all the fans. If you want to book us for any voiceover work or commercial work, please feel free to contact me or Jesse or Jack. Glad to help, glad to communicate, and glad to connect with anybody, so we appreciate it. Miss Debbie, blessings to you. I'm gonna have Jesse keep you updated. I do want to do something and kind of do like a reunion with you all. I don't know when, maybe after the holidays when stuff kind of slows down a little bit. I don't know everybody's schedule. I'll probably have Jesse line up you all schedule, but I would love to have y'all do like a reunion on our show. Not even talking about The Wire only, but just bringing y'all together on the show. I think that would be a phenomenal, beautiful episode. So
because this is the beautiful thing. We've done a lot of things together outside of this Wire, Treme, We Own the City, family, the dudes. But I'm saying we have all of that, and then other stuff, and it would be nice. And I would like to have it if Ghazi could be on, because I would like for people to get the perspective of being thrown in, to do
what we can do. What we can do, Miss Debbie, you, I, and Jesse, baby, can figure out some of the people we've had on already, and then figure out maybe the people that you'd like to have on a little reunion episode, and then we could try to piece it all together.
Well, like I said, the departments, because makeup, hair, and costume work together.
Right. Okay. Well, I'll get with Jesse. I'll get with Jesse, Miss Debbie, and we will look to plan this out. Again, thank you so much. This is a phenomenal start to the week. I feel like going into tomorrow, you just gave a great energy today, and we just appreciate your time so much, Miss Debbie.
Thank you so much, Leland. Thank you. All the best to you. Peace and blessings, and I'm gonna, stay in touch.
Thank you, please. And Miss Debbie, if you have anything where like people can book you or look to hire you or anything like that, like a link. I don't know if you have like a link if people want to work with you. I ain't think so at this point. But if you have anything that you want us to put out,
they usually reach out to me on a DM, like on Instagram.
Okay. I just didn't know if you were promoting, like, hey, look, hire Miss Debbie. If you, I didn't think so. We put our links of all our interviews and our long videos. So like, if you click on the video, you'll see everybody we've interviewed, all of their links. We've got Nakia Dillard School link in the description. So I always ask if you got anything you want us to put.
I said, my Instagram handle. Like if people want to reach out,
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll use that then. I'll put that in there then. I'll say if you want to reach out to Miss Debbie, reach out via Instagram. I'll do that then.
That would be great. And it's a 4-letter Debbie, DEBI makeup.
Got it. Okay, I'll find it there.
And it was just one other thing I think that I wanted to say. Anyway, it'll come back to me. Make sure you get my if you don't have my information already, my text and stuff, that you can text me.
I will. Okay, I'll get it from Jesse, and we'll start trying to piece together that reunion episode. I'll let him know.
Right, and I'd like to, if I can, I would like to reach out to Jamie.
Okay.
Hector, who was Marlo, to see if you guys want to interview him, would he be interested? And,
for sure.
And also Lawrence Gilliard.
Yeah, no, for sure. We want any and everybody that was attached. Even we're thinking about doing maybe Miss Donna's daughter. She had a small scene in there, and we may interview her at some point in time and get her perspective. So anybody attached in any way, shape, or form, especially somebody like yourself or Jamie Hector or Wendell Pierce, we'd be glad to have them on for sure.
Fantastic.
For sure. Thank you so much, Ms. Debbie. It's been a pleasure and an honor, and we appreciate your time. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. I'm blessed.
You have a good one. Blessings to you.
Okay, baby. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.